Hello and welcome back to goldstocktrades.com. Today we have a new and special guest with us, Hubert Bouchard. Hubert is Director of Corporate Development of Radisson Mining, which can be traded as RDS on the TSX Venture and as RMRDF on the OTC. Radisson is developing the O'Brien Gold Project, the 100% owned project located in Quebec along the Cadillac Break, the world-renowned mining jurisdiction. They've had some exciting, transformative year. They published a new resource model in Q1 2019. They came out with a new resource estimate where the tonnage and grade and ounces increased in July. And they've announced some exciting financings with some strategic investors. Thank you, Hubert, for coming here today and for highlighting the ongoing 20,000 meter drill program.
Thank you, Jeb. A pleasure being here.
Hubert, first talk to us about this year and the transformative year for Radisson.
Yeah, it's been a very transformative year over the last few months. Our work basically started back in November of 2018 when we hired a new exploration manager, Mr. Richest. He's got close to 30 years of experience in geology. He's worked basically on all continents for geology. He was on the team that won the Prospector of the Year award twice here in Quebec for discoveries of deposit. And when Richard joined, we were drilling at the time at O'Brien, and the first hole he drilled, we obtained 37.5 grams per ton over 12.8 meters, and just above in the hole, we obtained another intercept of 8.7 grams per ton over 12.2 meters. And that was the best hole the company had drilled over the last few years. So the feedback from investors was quite good, but basically they were asking, very nice hole, but can you do it again? So I turned the question to Richard, and he looked at the model and basically suggested me that with what we had on end, he couldn't be very confident that he'll be hitting those high-grade gold structures on a consistent basis. He suggested at the time that we do a lithostructural review of our geological model, and we knew the right guy to hire for this. His name is Kenneth Williamson. Kenneth is a master in structural geology and did his master thesis on the Red Lake mine. At the time, this was Gold Corp when they started to find the high-grade gold zone that was basically a company maker for Gold Corp. So we completed this work over the last few months of 2018 and put the new model out in 2019. And basically what this model is suggesting is that we have a conjugated system of veins on the property, and that the high-grade gold structures are controlled by cross-cutting faults. So we took a step back, validated the model from a core perspective, but also from the historic production there is on site. The old O'Brien mine is very well renowned in Quebec. It's produced close to 600,000 ounces at 15.2 grams per ton between 1926 and 1957. And our model was validated in the old O'Brien mine. What we found out is that there was 14 veins documented in the mine, and 3 of those veins either folded or happening at the crossing of 2 veins or 3 veins, return 90% of the production at O'Brien. And again, district production is close to 600,000 ounces at 15.2 grams. So the richest mine by grade in Quebec. So it's a lock, and we're very fortunate to have this mine on site. It allows for greater geological knowledge on our resource area, which is just beside the mine, but at shallower depth. And the model being validated from a core perspective, from a stope perspective in the mine, we took a step back from a regional perspective to realize that, yes, we have 4.5 kilometers of the Cadillac break, but we also have a secondary fault coming into the property. And that fault crosses the Cadillac break, and it's named the Lake Emo Fault. And usually when you have such fault coming into the break in Abitibi, it's a very good place to find a very good quality ounces or deposit. And basically, that's the reason why there's so much gold on our property.
So you have a top team that's come behind Radisson, come up with this new model, developed the resource this July where you've increased the tonnage and the grade. And let's talk about this world-renowned gold belt, the Cadillac break. You're surrounded by mines and mills. Could you highlight the location and infrastructure that's so critical, and the permitting that's so critical for investors looking to invest in gold companies in this next bull market?
Yeah, well, we're halfway between two mining towns, roughly 50 kilometers apart from the property, Rouyn-Noranda and Val-d'Or. There's strong mining and exploration expertise in the area, and also an experienced labor pool that we have access to. The infrastructure, as you mentioned, are very good. We're a kilometer by a paved highway, so that allows for year-round exploration and drives the cost of exploration down as well. We are currently drilling the O'Brien project at around $115 per meter all-in cost, so that's a very big advantage for our company. And most of the ground in the area is held by major companies such as Agnico Eagle, IAMGOLD. In fact, our property is contiguous to the La Ronde mine property, which is the deepest mine in America. It goes from surface down to 3.2 kilometer depth, as opposed to our resource right now that's just been identified from surface down to 550 meters. The area is also renowned for the takeovers that happened in recent years. I'm thinking here about the KM Malartic mine, which was taken over at around $3.9 billion, and also the Integra takeover by Eldorado and Val-d'Or for close to $550 million. Right now, our market cap sits at only $35 million, and it's a very exciting time for us, being cashed up with close to $9 million in treasury at year-end, which will allow us to basically complete the largest, or one of the largest exploration program that's ever been completed on the property in a single year.
So today we're talking with Hubert Bouchard, who's the Director of Corporate Development of Radisson Mining, which can be traded as RDS on the TSX Venture and as RMRDF. And this is a really strong technical team has come on recently with strong ownership from some of the key investors like Mr. Rob McEwen. And the goal here, I guess, Hubert, is to grow this asset to become greater than 1 million ounces. The resource that you published in July, and there's going to be drilling going on consistently in 2020. Could you talk to us about the upcoming year and what kind of differentiates Radisson and Quebec and the Cadillac Lake from all these other mining companies out there?
Yeah, well, due to the the known structure, the robust model we've put together, and the low exploration costs in the area, we're able to deliver low risk exploration to the investors. And our goal over the next year is to keep validating our model with additional drilling. We've already seen first signs of validation as we've published an intercept of 66.71 grams per ton gold over 4.7 meters, 300 meters below the deposit in October. So that's a very impressive hole, and we'll keep coming to the market with results like that. I'm very confident to highlight the exploration potential at depth, but also what we'll be doing with that expanded drill program in 2020 is to keep expanding and converting the resource in the footprint of the resource area, so from surface down to 550 meters. And our goal by year end is to show a standalone project to the market at the same grade as it is right now, around 9.5 grams for the indicated category and close to 7.3 grams for the inferred category. So as you know, Jeb, the O'Brien project with this new resource estimate that we've put out in July now sits as one of the highest grade undeveloped project in Canada. This is a very scarce resource. At the time, we're seeing multiple M&As in the market, and I think that's one of the reasons that we've been attracting quality investors to our company over the last 6 months.
Let's talk a little bit more, Hubert, about the quality investors that have been supporting Radisson and are giving us the ability to really drill and develop this to become a major asset in Quebec.
Yeah, sure. We just announced a second investment from Mr. Rob McEwen in our company in 2019. So he now owns around 3.3% of the company. But the company is also very well supported by institutions across Ontario, Quebec, Texas, and also has very strong backing from one group in Switzerland that now own around 9% of our company. We've always been very implicated in the story, so the management and insider now owns around 10% of the company. And as you mentioned, we bolstered our team both from an exploration but also from a corporate level. We recently appointed Rahul Paul as a Chief Financial Officer. Rahul was a mining analyst covering small to intermediate gold producers for more than 12 years in Toronto. And we also had a strategic advisor coming in. His name is Michael Gentile. He's an ex-fund manager out of Montreal who was focused on the oil and gas and mining space. And basically from 2012 to 2018, he and his partner grew a fund from 15 million AUM to $650 million. Mr. Gentile owns around 5% of the company. Coming into the company back in 2013 with my father, we raised our profile mainly locally and in Quebec. So we also have a group of private investors that hold close to 28% of the company. So within 40 phone calls, we can basically reach out to 80% of our capital structure. So that's very important as we move forward, and we feel we're gonna keep having very strong support from these shareholders as they've been very active over the last few months and years.
Well, my subscribers have known from the past to invest in one high grade and good jurisdictions, and especially Quebec, we followed Integra Gold that was taken out by Eldorado and was a great win even in a tough bear market. So in gold. So imagine what happens now with these projects in a good gold bull market and with increasing this. Please take a look at the model, the new lithostructural model that's on the website Radisson Mining, Radisson mining.com. You can email Hubert if you need more information for due diligence at hpbouchard@radissonmining.com, and please make sure to sign up for their emails so if with upcoming news and developments. Thank you, Hubert, for being here with us today. Is there anything else that you'd like to conclude with before we end the interview?
Well, just wish to give everybody my best wishes for happy holidays and a prosperous year in 2020, and even more prosperous, for investors that take a deep look into our company. I think it's going to be a very good year for Radisson moving into 2020 and years to come. So I'd like to tell everybody, feel free to reach out to me for more details, and we'll be in touch on more results in the coming in the new year.